We hear a lot from new investors who are keen to get started in property but are unsure about what to do about the mortgage. There is so much choice out there, and the one that you choose could be the difference between a profitable investment and a noose around your neck.
Today we lay out the different mortgages available to those that are trying to gain financial freedom through property investing, and out of all of the options, which one we would choose. Let's check it out. Welcome to Money Unshackled, the investment channel that sets you and your finances free. I'm Andy, this is Ben, and if you like what we say, hit the like button and click subscribe. Also, if you want to support the channel, check out some of the affiliate links in the description below, where we put a list of stuff that's really helpful for gaining your financial freedom. Let's get into it.
Why do I need a mortgage at all? Let's just clear this one up before we go any further. If you're investing in property without using a mortgage, you will be one of two people. Either you will own a massive property portfolio already and no longer need to worry about money, or you will have no idea what you are doing.
Mortgages provide leverage, which is an essential component of the investment property model. It allows you to buy a property at a fraction of its price and then allows the bank to pay the rest. This gives the investor several advantages.
Number one, you can buy many properties for the price of one and make rental profits on many properties rather than on one, and can move your return on investment from around the region of 5% to 15%. Number two, all capital growth on the property is allocated to you, the owner, not the bank. If a house goes up in value by £10,000, that is your £10,000. The bank gets none of it. And number three, it's far easier to save for a deposit on a house than for the full purchase price.
The most noticeable downside to a mortgage is the regular monthly payments to the bank. You might think this is a deal breaker, but not so. The payments don't even have to be much at all.
Buy-to-let mortgage or residential mortgage. If you only own one property and you're renting it out to someone else, then you can get away with using a residential mortgage, but you have to let the bank know that you're doing this, as you'll need their permission. A residential mortgage is what most people think of when they think of a mortgage. You pay back a big chunk of the loan plus interest every month until the loan is paid off.
The big advantage of using a residential mortgage is the relatively small deposit size, which can be as low as 5%, but it is usually in the region of around 10%. Buy-to-let mortgages, on the other hand, make you put down at least 25% as the deposit, which is a much tougher barrier to overcome.
So, why would you use a buy-to-let mortgage? Simple answer, you have to. If you own more than one house and you have a residential mortgage on your home, then the house that you're letting out has to be a buy-to-let mortgage.
Buy-to-let mortgages suck in terms of the deposit size, but are great in one respect, and that is the low monthly payments.
Buy-to-let mortgages, capital repayment or interest only. You might have heard of interest-only mortgages. If you're struggling financially, then your residential mortgage provider sometimes might let you go interest only for a while. However, with buy-to-let mortgages, this option is available to you right from the start, whatever your finances are like.
So you now have a choice between capital repayments or interest only, but which is best? Most people will instinctively choose the capital repayment mortgage because they want to pay off their mortgage as soon as possible. "My tenant is paying off my mortgage" is a common phrase that you might hear from the novice investor.
Ask yourself, why do you want to pay off your mortgage? Why would you want to funnel money every month into the same investment that's already providing you an income? That income's not getting any higher as a result. It's better surely to put that money into new investments to get new income streams.
An interest-only mortgage will only charge you the interest each month rather than a capital repayment. To put it into context, on a £100,000 house with a 2% mortgage, the interest would be £167 a month. The capital repayment, if we chose a repayment mortgage, would be an extra £203 per month on top of this over a 30-year term, or £370 total each month.
The monthly difference is huge and is often the difference between a healthy profit and a small loss. This is the property market for you, and the only way to make a decent income from property these days is to use an interest-only mortgage.
But isn't paying off my mortgage a good thing? Yes and no. We invest in property to gain an income from it, not to break even for 30 years by just repaying off a mortgage. In 30 years, that property would then become profitable, but who wants to wait that long? You don't have to.
While it is generally a good idea to be debt-free, a mortgage is considered by us to be good debt because it is paired with an asset, the house. We would prefer to be making £300 profit from each house rather than breaking even on our many houses and potentially having to support them out of our own savings to help pay the bills.
Fixed versus tracker mortgage. So we've decided to go with an interest-only mortgage, but which mortgage type do we choose? A fixed rate or a tracker rate?
Fixed rate mortgages give you a rate, say 2%, and this is what you pay for the fixed term. After the fixed term, you can then remortgage the deal and renegotiate with a new provider, or they will automatically put you on to a much higher standard variable rate.
The bank's standard variable rate will usually be very high, so it's best to avoid these and remember to remortgage when the fixed term ends. A tracker rate mortgage, on the other hand, is pegged to a fixed rate above the Bank of England's base rate, which means that it moves up or down with base rate changes.
Both are good choices. Tracker rates will be slightly lower than fixed rates generally because tracker rates have a risk of rising if the Bank of England base rate rises. However, which one you choose will depend on your risk profile. We personally would choose fixed rate mortgages because you can better budget for the monthly payments.
How long should I look in? Both trackers and fixed mortgages typically lock you in for a period of 2, 5 or 10 years, with the shorter periods usually for a cheaper interest rate, whereas the longer period gives you more certainty.
You might want to lock in for 10 years if you get a good rate, or you might want the flexibility to reassess your options in 2 years' time and take advantages of things like remortgages and just take a 2-year contract.
Lower admin fees versus lower interest rate.
So you've decided on buy to let, you've gone with interest only, you've decided your length, and you have chosen between fixed and tracker, and now you have one final decision to make. Do you choose the one with the high admin fee or the one with the higher interest rate?
Banks will typically offer 2 versions of each loan, one that has a high interest rate but a low or even zero admin fee, and ones that have a low rate of interest but a high fee, which might be £1,000 or £2,000.
You can get out your calculator and work out which would be the best option by working out how much interest you would pay under both options, and then adding on to the one with the admin fee divided by the number of months in your fixed term. This will be the admin fee per month. If it's a close call, it's worth remembering that you can always add the admin fee onto the mortgage as part of your loan. In this way, it could be something that you defer to the future to worry about. Remember that far into the future, inflation will have eaten away at this admin fee, making it a much smaller amount. 9 times out of 10, this is the option that I think that I would go with.
So there you have it. So many choices, but only a few clear routes to financial freedom.
We hope we've made your decision that little bit easier.
Question of the day: what's stopping you from investing in property? Let us know in the comment section. Thanks for watching. On this channel we talk a lot about personal finance, investing and all things money. And if you want to see more great content, please click the subscribe button below.
This is Money Unshackled. See you next time.